You're listening to Captain John Doe, real aviation stories told anonymously. Let's get into it. Hello, and welcome back to the Captain John Doe podcast.
I'm glad you're joining us. It seems like you guys really got excited over that first episode. So we're going to bring some more back to you.
It's just going to get crazier and crazier the more you guys listen and the more submissions we get from listeners like you. So remember, go to the Captain John Doe podcast website to submit your crazy story that we will read here on the podcast.
Anonymously.
So that's CaptainJohnDoe.com. And you don't even have to tell us your name. But you know whose names you should know.
My name is Kevin.
And my name is Mindy. We are married and we are both pilots. I'm an ATP rated pilot. I am a corporate pilot flying a private jet. I'm also an aircraft broker of 9 years. And I have my CFI and double I and just an overall aviation nerd.
My accolades aren't as great as Mindy's over there, but right now I am a CFI actively instructing. I'm also a little bit later in life pilot. My first career, I was an air traffic controller. I had stints in Atlanta and Orlando, but I jumped over on the other side of the mic now, and I'm working in the cockpit. And I'm hoping that I can share some of my stories here with you as well.
To the dark side. So between the two of us, we have so many stories to share. But what I have realized in my career in aviation is that the coolest thing is other people's stories. And we're talking the stories that you get back to the hangar and people slowly start coming in and cracking open a beer. It's 9 p.m. Everyone's done flying for the day. And Captain Jim Bob over there starts telling you a crazy story that he could never tell anywhere else. And you leave there saying, wow, like, I wish I could tell other people that story. And that's what inspired this podcast, is the stories that you don't get to tell anywhere else. But everyone wants to hear the drama, the gossip. Everyone wants the tea, as do I. So send us your stories. That's going to be crucial to this podcast. We have a ton already, but we need you to send them in. So head over to the website, send us a story, and you could be featured on the next episode.
Let's start it off right here. So I just said I was a CFI, so I like a lot of the stories that are related to flight training. So I found this story on Reddit, Captain John Doe, titled, "My Student Tried to End Us."
Oh gosh.
Literally. Apologies for the clickbaity title, but I couldn't think of a better one. Yesterday, I was flying a routine circuit with a student I've been working with for a few weeks, one who had made it fairly clear through attitude and body language that I wasn't his favorite instructor. Still, I approached every lesson with the same professionalism, hoping to build trust through consistency and safety. We were on the downwind leg for the runway, as usual, abeam the numbers, just beginning to discuss the pre-landing checklist, just like we did before many times in preparation for his solo flight. I was mid-sentence about to configure for landing when I noticed his hand abruptly go for the mixture and said, "I'd like to see you recover from this." And before I could react, he pulled it all the way out. The engine sputtered instantaneously. I took control immediately and pushed the mixture back in, while simultaneously verifying throttle and carb heat. The engine caught again, thankfully without issue. I stayed calm, kept the aircraft flying, and executed a quick approach to land. I asked him calmly but firmly, "Why did you pull the mixture?" He shrugged, muttered something about wanting to see what would happen. I knew better it wasn't curiosity. It was deliberate. After we landed and taxied back, and I quickly got out of the airplane and fast walked to our chief pilot's office. A colleague met me halfway because he saw us having engine issues. I briefly explained what happened and he confronted the student. Obviously, he denied everything. After we cooled down, the student, our CFI, my colleague, and I sat down in his office, and while at first he denied everything, It didn't take long to confess that he did do it on purpose because he was tired of being instructed what to do. And I kid you not, especially from a woman. He was promptly dismissed from the school and flagged as well. Never in my life would I have thought something like this would happen. I'm okay now. Unfortunately, the weather is awful today. It will be for tomorrow as well, so it will give me a chance to decompress and regroup. I'm just venting a bit here because I know most of you will understand.
Holy shit. I have 2 immediate comments. First one, I love that we have a Captain Jane Doe.
We love Captain Jane Does.
Second comment, immediate jail time. Like, how is that not attempted manslaughter?
Woman slaughter.
Kudos to this fine woman for saying that she remained calm. That would not be in my debrief. I would have him on the ground. I would be so mad. I almost don't even have words.
Now, this one's hard to say because if a student pulled a mixture and said, what would you do now?
What if he did that on takeoff? It's obviously the student is not very smart and doesn't know a lot about aviation. And that could have very easily been on takeoff.
He deliberately did it. So there's malicious intent there too.
She didn't give the end of the story though. Obviously they must have kicked this student out of the school.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. It said that.
Oh,
yeah. They said that they kicked the student.
I was over here raging, mad.
You like when I said the woman part?
No. No, that's crazy. Has anything like that ever happened to you?
No, my students are never, or at least so far, knock on wood, I've not been put in a situation where they're deliberately trying to put us into the ground.
I had a student one time pull a mixture on me on a go around.
Whoa.
It was a student that was really behind. We were going on a missed approach, and it baffles me because I don't understand when on a go around, when you're taught that everything kind of goes full forward, that the instinct would be to pull anything away from the panel.
I could say this from firsthand experience because Mindy did teach me how to fly. She would have taught that student everything goes full forward.
Yeah. Well, actually, it wasn't even my primary student. It was someone else's student that I was flying with. And so we went missed. And instead of putting full throttle and everything full forward, he pulled the mixture out.
That's a great topic, really. There, a lot of the work I do is stage checks for other people's students. So you're dealing, let's say it's a commercial applicant that I get, this student you might have had, or a private, pre-check ride private, somebody who is competent enough that they're sending it to you. Well, how do you act as that instructor? It's not your student. You're not the one instructing them, but you're expected to sit there, quote unquote, as a DPE almost. What is the best way to act as that instructor?
I think it's still a training environment, even if it's a pseudo check ride, especially if it's an in-house stage check. That's still a training environment, and you are still expected to teach, in my opinion. That's what the student's paying for. They're not at check ride. And if they, quote, fail your internal stage check, then so be it. But they shouldn't leave without a learning opportunity.
I'd say I treat everybody the same, just how you're saying. I will guard the controls for everybody, regardless of how qualified they are. I routinely fly with people who have 4,000 hours in jets, but I'm their instructor for a reason. They're learning how to fly this particular model. And I always look at that you have to guard it. So back to this story, you can't really guard the mixture.
No, and why would you ever expect a student to do that? And especially say, let me see you recover from this.
No, you expect stalls and spins and all these things that
My checklist would be mixture, full forward, land the plane, punch in the face.
Kick him out the door. Punch in the face, kick him out the door.
All right, enough about this guy. He has too much screen time already. On to the next story. Okay, The next story is not quite a story, but more of a checklist, you could say. And I think that everyone will get a kick out of this list because I sure did. The headline, the title of this is called Understanding and Living with Your Air Traffic Controller.
Is this personal?
I did not write it.
It's personal. We know who Captain Jane Doe is in this one.
So no, I did not write this. However, I have a lot of experience. How long were you a controller for? 8 years?
8 years.
Kevin was a controller for 8 years. We were married throughout the entirety of his air traffic controller career. And so I'm sure some of these are going to be relatable, but I did not write it. Okay,
Sure.
So don't be offended. All right. Advice from actual air traffic controllers, spouses, family, and friends. And this is all bullet points, and I'm just going to ruffle through them, okay? Even if you don't agree or you think what we're saying is stupid, for the love of God, at least acknowledge that you heard us.
Please. Please.
You're going to react to
Please.
You're going to react to every
Sorry if I get loud here.
Which is funny. We actually have this problem at the airport we fly out of Henderson Airport. The controllers there, when they're busy, they don't respond to you. And me and Kevin go on rants all the time about, okay, we understand if you're busy. We're not trying to say like you have to give us direction. But if you say stand by or call again in 1 minute or whatever.
Unable,
any response is better than no response. And that's what the first bullet point is. There's so many bullet points. We're going to be on so many tangents here. We work all hours of the day. Please learn the 24-hour clock. Life is easier this way. Saying my shift starts at 10 means nothing, which is hilarious because it was so
10 a.m. or 10 p.m.
Right. And I would always ask you your schedule.
Every day.
If
Every day.
you guys don't know, air traffic controllers' schedules change every day. It's not a 9 to 5. It's not a 5 to 9. It is literally different every single day.
It's called the Rattler. I won't go through it. Just look up air traffic control Rattler schedule.
I can be listening intently to your story and without notice look away and say something to someone else while still listening to you. We do it all the time at work. I know it's rude in the real world. It's hard to turn off, but I promise you we heard you. Also, if I'm talking to you and you look away, I'll stop talking assuming you're hearing someone else in your ear. It's habit.
Unbelievable. I feel like you just did that to me.
Did you write this?
You said, look at me, look into the mic when we're talking. Don't look away.
These are really funny.
For everyone listening, pay attention to what she's saying and then go get a tour at your closest air traffic facility. And I guarantee you every single bullet point on here is going to be actively demonstrated.
These are already fire bullet points. I'm not going to lie.
All right, let's keep going. I want to hear it.
I have 30 work passwords that I have to change every 90 days without repeating. I don't remember the Netflix password.
I feel attacked right now. Personally.
You guys, the way Kevin is looking at me right now is like as if I entered his brain and wrote this without his permission and like he's scared. Okay.
What is the Netflix password?
Next. You made it. You made the password.
I don't know what it is.
Okay. Don't ask us to make trivial decisions at home. We've been making one decision after another all day long. I don't care what we eat for dinner or what park we go to.
Just make dinner.
I disagree with this bullet point. I make decisions all day long too. We live in a modern world where a lot of spouses work as well, and they're not just staying home homemaking. And I am mentally exhausted as well. So you're going to need to man up and make a decision.
Next.
We could talk about this one longer if you want.
Next.
Okay. Kids, stick to the plan. If we ask you to clean your room, take out the garbage, mow the lawn, these are your instructions in that order. Remember the assignment. We don't have kids, so that sounds great, though. Okay. Having to repeat things hurts our soul. We thrive on clear communication and expect to be heard the first time we say something. It's okay to ask for clarification or if you have questions, but we'll assume you don't unless you tell us. I ask Kevin to repeat what he says like 6,000 times a day. I feel like that one does. Actually, I'm understanding you more as I'm reading these bullet points in real time. I see your skin crawling. I'm so sorry.
You tell me, say again. You even say it like that. That like ear piercing noise that you tell the controller. Say again.
What'd you say?
Say again.
What is patience? We have things to do. Please do them my way and immediately. All right. This guy kind of sucks sometimes. Next. If it's 1400, I like that he's using the 24-hour clock. If it's 1400 and I'm passed out on the couch, please let me sleep. Also, if it's 0300 and I'm up and being kind of noisy, I'm sorry.
Back to the rattler.
Sometimes Christmas is on the 28th. It's okay. Santa makes special trips. So does the Easter Bunny, Thanksgiving dinner, leprechauns, and birthday presents.
I'm
Boy,
trying
is that true?
Trying to think back. Did I ever get, let's say, a Christmas?
No. You had Thanksgiving off once because it happened to fall. Your days off were Wednesdays and Thursdays.
Day off. Don't say days.
At one point, you had Wednesdays and Thursdays that were supposed to be your days off.
Wednesdays.
And you had Thanksgiving off.
That was the only way.
But you guys want to know the worst part sometimes about being an air traffic controller wife was we lived away from family in another state. And Kevin would work, as we're discussing, every holiday and not be able to get off because of his low seniority. And that was really hard for me because I didn't want to go home, fly to another state and be with my family or his family for the holiday because I would feel so guilty that you would come home from your shift to an empty house on Christmas. That makes me feel sad. So I would never do that. But then what does that mean? It meant that I spent every holiday sitting at home alone, waiting for you to get home from your shift just so you didn't come home to an empty house. And that was a really hard time.
And you're a really great wife for that.
What did you say?
A really great.
That was a joke.
I know.
But I'm glad you fell for it. Next bullet point is just blackout curtains, which we have been proud owners of since your first day of ATC life.
Why blackout curtains? Because we have to sleep at 2 p.m.
Yep. My leave hasn't been approved yet. I don't know if I'll be there. I really want to be there. And if I am there, no pictures, please. We did that so many times where you called out sick.
The only way you can get a day off is if you're sick.
Yeah.
The only way.
No pictures, please. That's hilarious. Leave is really difficult in the ATC system.
Hashtag Oshkosh 2024. I was sick the whole time.
Yeah. Now that you're not there, we can say it, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Kevin called out sick for all of Oshkosh in 2024. And we literally had to tell everyone and every friend to not post photos of Kevin there.
Yeah.
The things we do for airplane love. And sorry for everyone flying through. Were we in Atlanta or Orlando during that time?
I think there's a ground stop that day or two.
What do you want to do December 2027? We need to put in for the leave now.
You want to tell them about that or me?
You can. Go ahead.
So every year, let's say October, every facility is a little different, but around October, you have to bid the entire year off and that week. And that's it. That's all you get. You don't. Being a government employee does have its benefits. Like we did get, I was allotted roughly a month off a year. The problem is on October 2nd, you had to bid all your days off.
For the entire
next year. And that's it. You don't get any other days. There's no exception.
No one else plans their life like that. So let's say October comes and goes and we put in your leave requests. We would get invited to a wedding. Let's say we got invited for that wedding in February and it's a December wedding. Can't go. Cannot go.
Another thing that you'll find with air traffic controllers, and Mindy knows this, is we bid in October and it's October the next year. And the schedule comes out and I randomly have 4 days off this upcoming week. And we sit down and panic and say we have to go somewhere because I've been waiting that's the only days off we get. So like you have to take these trips. It almost feels like necessary that if you have that time off, you got to take it because it's the only thing you get.
There's so much pressure because you can't trade that leave in and be like, oh, actually, we don't have plans those days. I want to move it to somewhere else. You can't.
Can't move it. It goes bye-bye or...
Yeah, actually, it's kind of take it or take it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Next bullet. No, I don't need to take leftovers to work. I didn't eat what I brought yesterday. We sent the new guy on another chow run.
Yeah. I would say at least once a week, somebody was bringing food. The airlines were bringing us food. That is true. Listen, this is not here to bash controllers, okay? This is here to say reality.
Oh, we're not bashing. I'm in supporting controllers and their honestly difficult life. We went through it for almost a decade, and it was a really hard time for our family and our relationship. And I feel for everyone because you loved that job so much, but you were forced to leave because of the strain it put on your personal life.
Yep.
The next bullet point is really funny. We kind of already hit on it. And you would get so mad at me when you were a controller that I didn't know your schedule by heart because it was so confusing. So here's
it was the same every week. The day was the same. Now, I did go in at a different time every day. But if it was Monday, I worked at 7 a.m.
Just as confusing as what this bullet point sounds like. You had just made a hilarious tee up. All right. My schedule isn't that confusing. I work late to early through the week, ending with a mid. Unless I have overtime, then I'll end on a random shift. It could be a mid. My weekend is Sunday, Monday for the whole year. I know I worked last Monday. That was overtime. Okay, I have overtime every Sunday or Monday. So I see why you're confused. Let's just plan to hang out in 2026 so I can put in for leave when we bid.
It's so perfect. It's so perfect.
Whoever wrote this, can you
it's a spouse, right?
Be our friend?
It's an air traffic controller
No, I
spouse.
think the controller made this because he's talking about himself. I just gendered him. He or she, Captain John Doe or Jane Doe.
Okay.
Whoever wrote this, please be our friend because you're hilarious. If we're talking on the phone and you hear us say 2 letters, those are our initials. It's the same as saying, okay, bye, but we've already hung up. Jan.
If I ever go through a drive-through, it still comes out. I end it with KZ.
Yeah, KZ was your initials. Why was it KZ? Because your initials are KL.
When I got hired at Atlanta, KL, Kilo Lima, was taken. So one of my best friends in my wedding, his initials are KZ. So I took KZ instead.
I didn't know that's why you picked KZ.
Yeah.
I knew KL is taken, but I assumed KZ was assigned to you. I didn't know that. And that's funny because I always think of Kyle Zeck when you say KZ.
Yep. No names. Gosh.
I don't know when my breaks will be at work or even what position I'll be on. I just know I'll be there for 24 out of the next 42 hours. I'll see you Saturday morning.
We're laughing, but real quick on that, I get this question asked a lot. Like, do you just work like a sector? No. Whatever that facility runs, that's what you work. If you're in a center, whatever that area you're in, you work that whole area. There's many, many positions. So like, for instance, Atlanta had 14 positions in my area. Orlando Approach had like 17. So no, I have no idea where I'll be.
Right. All of our friends used to say, I'm flying to Orlando. What frequency you're going to be working?
All of them.
All of them. If we're saying something and you hear us say correction and continue talking, that means disregard what we said before correction. Anything after, still valid information. I should be home at 1700. Correction, 1730 today.
Oh my gosh.
Hilarious. If you're on the phone with the bank and I hear you say O as in olive, A as in ant, D as in dog, the rest of our day will be spent learning the proper phonetic alphabet. It physically hurts to hear it butchered.
100%.
My mom does it all the time.
Oh my gosh. The thing that bothers me the most is when the media calls airports their stupid made up name, OIA.
You're going to say it. The local news in Orlando, Florida will say OIA for Orlando International Airport instead of MCO. And of course, if you're listening to this, you're an aviation nerd too. And it does hurt me to my core. But when you say B as in boy,
D as in doggy.
No, I do agree with that. If the caller ID says US Gov, work, or even unknown, nobody is allowed to answer that phone. In the event you do, daddy/mommy has been drinking is what you say. Time of day is irrelevant.
Oh my gosh.
I need your context.
Okay, little context. So when the no number calls you, that means that they want you to come into work.
And I think that a lot of airline pilots are going to relate to this one because dispatch will call an airline pilot in.
But
right?
I don't know.
Well, they kind of have to take.
I don't know how it works for them. So the gist of it is if I answer that phone at that point, no matter what, I'm contractually assigned that shift. No matter what. So I can say I've been drinking. Obviously, I can't go to work, but they will now log it as I have worked that overtime. So let's say in the weird forever future that the facilities are staffed and you want an overtime a month. If you answer that phone and you don't go to work, it still counts as you showing up, even though you didn't get paid. But the biggest thing is like if you answer that phone, you're basically expected to go into work.
Yeah, don't answer that. That's funny.
Do not answer.
Remember your manager, I don't remember if it was Atlanta or Orlando or both, knew that you guys wouldn't answer, so they would text you and try to con you into answering via text.
It was Orlando.
Yeah, that's funny.
They would always text me, and at a certain point I went to them and their reasoning I respected. They're like, we don't want to, bother you. I was like, yeah, but I know what you're trying to do. I want you to call me and I'm going to hang up and I'm going to click it real quick and you can call me as many times as you want and I'm never going to answer.
I work in a dark room with no windows all day. I'm not wearing my sunglasses at dusk to be cool. Headlights are getting brighter and brighter.
No windows, no lights, no nothing.
No.
And it's like 63 degrees.
Lots of walls.
Lots of radar on them
screens. Okay. And now it goes into something that they call the family/controller glossary. I'm just going to hit through these. Niner equals 9. Tree equals 3. Fife equals 5. Affirmative, yes. Negative, no. Wilco, will comply. Standby equals hold on, wait a second. Say again. I didn't hear or understand you. Please say that again. Unable, no, I cannot or will not do that. Roger, your message has been received and understood. I have your request. I heard you. It's probably not going to happen. Copy, see Roger. RDO, regular days off, aka your weekend. Sometimes referred to as ODO, only day off, for some of those stuck on a never-ending 6-day work week. Bang out equals sick leave. Leave that can be used without regard to staffing. Annual equals annual leave. Leave that requires approval and proper staffing. Mid equals a midnight shift, usually between 2200 and 0600. Day equals a shift starting in the morning hours, usually between 0500 and 1000. How do you say 10? 1000 is not a word. 10 o'clock?
10 o'clock.
Man,
They're saying if you start between the hours of
5 a.m. and 10 a.m. I know, but I'm reading these numbers and 1000.
I don't know what that is.
Swing equals a shift starting in the afternoon hours, usually between 12 and 1700.
Shift.
Bidding equals the stressful time of year, usually the fall, when we bid our days off and all of our leave for the upcoming year is based on seniority. Please have all requests to attend weddings, family vacations submitted to your controller by their bidding date.
So for October.
Thanks to all the controllers who helped make this list and our family and friends who put up with us.
Wow.
What do you think of that post?
One question. If the controller tells you stand by, what do you say back?
Say again.
I'm done.
I'm
done. That was great. Whoever wrote that, please message us. I would love to chat. That right there, if you wanted to know what an air traffic controller's job in life is like, is it. That's it. They're like, obviously it's a funny little thing, but
it's really sad. The first comment on here says, no wonder the divorce rate is so high.
That's the other thing I didn't bring up earlier about when Mindy was talking about the holiday stuff is the reality is when I showed up to Atlanta day one, they asked me if I was married. And I said, I'm marrying my wife in 2 months. And they all looked at me with straight face and not joking. And they said, good, you need to get the first one out of the way. And I was very confused until I realized that every one of my coworkers, their wives have left them because the job is difficult.
Or they turned into animals at home. Like some of those bullet points that I skipped through kind of fast, that's unlivable. Like you can't bring your work home, your work life and personality home like that. You can't say to your wife or your husband, you have to make all the decisions in the household because I had a long day. That's really rough.
When people ask me why I left, because what Mindy said earlier is I loved my job. I was good at my job. I worked the coolest airspaces in the world, and I would never thought to leave. But like the dominoes just started stacking up, and I'd be in the break room and I'd look at all my buddies on their phones watching their kids' baseball games Saturday night while we're at work, and never, ever getting to see them play. And not being able to go with their wife to the beach that day or go see their, family. And, like I said, it just kept stacking up. And I got to a point where I was like, what's most important to me? And it's you.
Oh,
it's you.
Don't make me cry on the podcast.
It's my family. And fortunately, what it sets us apart is you. Because when I left Orlando, if anyone's listening that I worked with, like they know how much I cared about them. And I know how much they cared about me, including my Atlanta guys. Like I still go play golf with my guys in Atlanta every year because it's so impactful. We're together in it. And when I left, the day I left, all 25 people that were at work gave me a hug and were crying on my shoulder. And I didn't have a single tear go down. Not because I was sad that I wouldn't see them again, but like I was happy that I made a choice that's going to make my life what I want it to be. And I chose you. And because of you, you gave me that freedom to leave.
Yeah, I think a lot of your coworkers don't have the spousal support to leave a job like that.
It's difficult.
It's scary. It's a great paying job, great benefits, great job security. And a lot of spouses, I don't think would support the same decision.
There's a lot of you guys listening that DM me asking how I did it, and there's no one's the same, right? That the reason how I did it is because of you, because of Mindy. And when I talk to everybody who asked me like how to leave, and it all only comes down to your partner. Like, are they able to take what is coming in that temporary basis? Because for those of you that don't know, I think we've made it clear. I'm a CFI now. I went from making level 12 CPC controller pay to CFI pay overnight. That's not nothing. That's a big deal, a really big deal. So when it comes to leaving this profession, because of all those bullet points we just said, you might ask, why not just leave? It's impossible to just leave.
It's the golden handcuffs. I think everyone has experienced that in their careers. And if not, you probably will one day, where you wake up and you hate your job, but what's next? And you don't have anything lined up. You don't know if your skills are transferable. You have a huge financial impact on your doorstep if you were to leave that job. And they call it the golden handcuffs because you're in jail, but that's the only thing that's getting you by. And it's really difficult to change careers, especially later in life.
So since we're talking about it, might as well share. So it was this time last year, we were at Oshkosh. So right now we're doing this podcast in the summer. And Mindy and I go to Oshkosh. I bang out for
now from the glossary that means call out sick.
For way too many days. I got caught. One of you listening posted a picture of me, and I get back, and my supervisor, who I know is listening, I know you are listening right now, I miss you.
Aww.
Says, it tells my manager Kevin's at Oshkosh. And, what am I going to do? I can't lie. I just was like, yeah, I just went Mindy real quick.
She can only take care of me in Oshkosh, Wisconsin with this bad fever.
Oh, we flew Mojo all the way up there. You guys know. Anyways.
We're conveniently not in any of those videos.
Conveniently. I'm a star and I was having to be left out.
We're not promoting bad character, but hey.
I had so much leave. So much leave. Anyways.
Don't judge us. Okay, we're oversharing right now. Don't judge us.
Listen, I don't work there anymore. It's okay. So we left Oshkosh, and I just had this like overwhelming joy and happiness that was like, I want to do this.
Honestly, that trip changed your life. It changed our life.
I wanted to do this. So we get home, and at the time, like Minnie and I have been talking about, steps to get out or what to do next or like whatever. And it was at a dead end because my background, I played college baseball.
Here we go. Never let it go.
I will never let it go. You know what I didn't do in college? I didn't read a book. Ever.
Flex on them.
I didn't read a book. I played baseball. I was really good at baseball. And then the FAA picked me up when I was a little 21-year-old doofus. So I had zero experience on anything outside of ATC. So I had no transferable skills. So we get home from Oshkosh, and Mindy says, "You say, do it." And I'm like, "Really?" And she said, "Yes." And what I mean is she greenlit me to start training. And we got home from Oshkosh.
I nearly forced you to be clear. I had given you my support prior to Oshkosh. When you said, I think I want to become a pilot, I said, great, do it. And it wasn't until after Oshkosh I realized how important it was to you, but you were struggling with making the jump. And so I made you a presentation called Kevin's New Life. And I sat you down. I said, I have something to show you. And I made a presentation for you that showed you the path of your new life and gave my whole support. And that was the night that changed everything.
Everything. So thank you.
I'm crying.
Well, because of that night, we're sitting here in our house in Las Vegas, and I have my commercial Maltese CFI. And in the 4 months we've been here, I've already flown 500 hours.
Wild.
And
let this be inspiration. Sorry to cut you off, but let this be inspiration. If you're thinking about making a jump, maybe it's a career jump, a relationship jump. Maybe you just want to move to a new city and you're looking for a sign of you're waffling on it and you're just not sure if it's worth the risk or if you can handle that risk. Let this be the sign that you should freaking do it.
Do it.
Do it.
Just do it.
Do it. Call us and do it. And then tell us your crazy story from your next job.
Ah, man. Thanks for letting me get on my soapbox there.
We're going to end this episode a little longer than normal. We went over time because we started talking about ATC, which you're going to realize is a hit point for us.
It's hard for me not to get into it. Like, I would love to just have a podcast with you talking about ATC, but like, I think as you guys send us stories in, that's when it'll come out. Like, we're not going to spend specific episodes talking about it because I have stories for days. I have Captain John Doe stories forever.
Well, I'm going to ask you right now to tell two of them. Oh, man. Actually, there's so many you could tell. I'm going to have you tell two just because we were talking about like behind the scenes of the controller life.
All right, Captain John. Well, I'm not Captain John. You're Controller Captain John Doe.
Kevin John.
That is my middle name.
Okay. So I want you to quickly tell two stories. One, just for context of, you don't have to say which facility it was at, of you talked about high divorce rate. Tell us about the lady.
So, all right, this one, I don't want to be too specific.
And we're not ragging on her. I just want to show you guys a little bit about the divorce rate.
So when I first showed up to X facility somewhere,
bleep,
in the training department, there was Captain Jane Doe. And Captain Jane Doe was great. She was a great trainer. She was older, probably she might have been 70. And as I got more seasoned and show up more, the guys down that were certified would share more and more information. And they would say Captain Jane Doe is currently on her 6th husband from this specific facility.
6th husband from that facility. Imagine being married to your spouse and her 5 ex-husbands are your coworkers. Let that sink in.
Hey, she played the field. Good for her.
Those alimony checks be rolling.
They be rolling.
She not dumb. Wasn't there another situation at one of your facilities where I think it was a girl controller was married to a guy controller there and then divorced him for a different controller in the facility?
You can probably ask every controller and they're going to know that specific story at every facility.
Oh, oops. I didn't know. I just lit the house on fire.
That's not anything specific. That is a common theme.
Oh.
So for you controllers out there listening,
okay,
don't marry your coworker because precedent says that you or your spouse is going to leave you for one of your other coworkers.
Okay, we're going to leave on one kind of funny note, but kind of not funny note. I would be pissed. Why don't you tell them about the time that someone did something inappropriate on the floor to a chair?
Huh. Come in for my mid shift, as you learned previously, and it smelled a little bit. And turns out somebody played a prank on one of the other areas. And I like to embellish stories, so I want to think that they actually pulled their pants down in the control room and took a big old crap on the chair.
What's the alternative? They walked it in there by hand?
It's by hand in a baggie, or let's just act like they just took a crap on the chair in the control room. And
then did what?
And they pushed it in another area, and it was amazing.
Okay, so just to recap, guys, because this is freaking wild. Someone on the floor at an ATC facility,
the largest one in the world, you can make your guess,
took a shit on the chair in the middle of the night in the pitch dark. It's always pitch dark, but it's extra pitch dark because it's in the middle of the night. Took a chair, dump on the chair, and then pushed it to their coworker's area. Ha ha ha
ha ha ha ha ha.
And what did they do?
Nothing. What are they going to do? There's no cameras in there. They don't know who did it. To this day, it's an unsolved mystery.
Do you really not know who it was? Say their name right now.
Brad Pitt.
Do you actually not know?
No, I don't know because I had a lot of good friends in that area and they didn't know because Wait, but how would you not know? You would know who was working the shift. But you don't know when it happened. There's so many people in that building specifically. There's no way. There's no way.
Wow. Talk about anonymous. Which leads us to the end of this episode. Thanks for hanging in there on this extra long episode. A little bit of an ATC treat for you guys. And we have some great stories lined up for you on episode 3. We'll see you guys there.
See ya. Thanks for flying with Captain John Doe. If you have a story to share, visit CaptainJohnDoe.com and stay anonymous. New episodes every Wednesday. Be sure to subscribe, leave a review, and tell your favorite crew members.